The Young and the Restless spoilers the hidden nexus, Damian, Aristotle Dumas, and the secrets they bear in the labyrinthine world of Genoa City. Nothing is ever as it seems, and the threads of intrigue are interwoven with as much ambition as betrayal. One of the most perplexing mysteries to emerge recently is the undeniable link between Damian and the enigmatic Aristotle Dumas. Although Damian has been tight-lipped about the true nature of his connection to Aristotle, his silence has been anything but neutral, sparking fury and suspicion among key figures like Victor and Michael. For years, Damian's actions have danced on the edge of morality, shrouded in secrecy that hinted at a much larger, darker design. It is now becoming increasingly clear that the secrets Damian holds are not random. They are intricately tied to the web of deception spun around Amy. The moment has come when Amy can no longer hold back the truth. With emotions running high, she must reveal the hidden machinations that have altered the course of lives, leaving a trail of shattered trust in their wake. Victor's desperate maneuvers and the weight of regret amid this turbulent backdrop. Victor finds himself in a precarious situation. Known for his iron will and unmatched business acumen, Victor is now forced to confront the fact that his empire is being undermined by forces he can barely comprehend. In a calculated effort to regain control, Victor is working tirelessly to pull Nate into his orbit, attempting to illuminate the current quagmire of betrayal and treachery. Victor is drowning in regret and uncertainty, desperate to find a way to mend the mistakes that have led him into this morass. Victor's determination is palpable, but so is his shock. The revelation that Damian might be connected to Aristotle, a figure with ambitions that stretch far beyond the boardroom, has shaken him to his core. How could Damian, whose silence on the matter has only fueled speculation, be involved in schemes designed not only to defeat Victor but to upend the entire power structure of Genoa City? This question haunts him, driving him to verify every shred of evidence and every word that has come from Amy's trembling lips. Amy's emotional confession, tears, truth, and treachery in a heart-wrenching conversation with Nate. Amy's carefully concealed emotions finally broke free. Overwhelmed by sorrow and betrayal, she burst into tears as she recounted the chilling truth. Damian had lured her back to Genoa under false pretenses, orchestrating an elaborate charade designed solely to deceive Nate. The emotional intensity of that moment was a revelation in itself, a raw confession that shattered any illusions Nate might have held about loyalty and trust. Amy's tears were not merely an expression of pain, they were an outpouring of the weight she had carried in silence. For too long, she had been complicit in a drama of her own making, manipulated by a man whose ambitions knew no bounds. In her confession, she admitted that she was not suffering from any hidden ailment or affliction. The physical maladies that many had speculated about were nothing more than a ruse. Every symptom, every act of vulnerability, had been carefully contrived by Damian, a mastermind whose schemes stretched across multiple layers of deceit. Her voice trembled as she explained that Damian's plans were not only to sabotage Victor but also to orchestrate his downfall by pitting friend against friend, family against family. The revelation painted Damian as a genius of manipulation, a director of dark plays in which every character was cast into roles designed to further his own ambitions. His silence about his connection to Aristotle Dumas was, in fact, a calculated move, one that left both Victor and Michael seething with frustration and disbelief. The ambition of a mastermind, Damian's overreach. Damian's ambitions, as laid bare by Amy's tearful admission, have grown dangerously unchecked. Once content to operate behind the scenes, he has now set his sights on a goal that threatens to topple the established order. His aim is not simply to undermine Victor, he intends to ruin him, turning every alliance and every secret against the man who once commanded respect and fear in equal measure. It is clear that Damian's reach extends far beyond a single act of betrayal. His machinations have sown discord across the corridors of power, earning him enemies from every corner of Genoa City. His elaborate schemes, once dismissed as mere subplot, are now recognized as a full-blown conspiracy with the potential to disrupt not just business deals, but the very fabric of personal loyalties. The very idea that Damian could be orchestrating events in collaboration with or under the shadow of Aristotle Dumas casts a long, ominous shadow over the future. Victor's reaction is one of incredulity. To think that a man like Damian, who has always thrived on secrecy, could go so far as to play multiple sides against each other is a bitter pill to swallow. Victor is now tasked with verifying the truth of Amy's claims, meticulously retracing every step, every conversation that might confirm the extent of Damian's treachery. His mind is a battlefield of conflicting emotions, rage, regret, and a desperate need to restore order. The ripple effects, from personal betrayal to corporate warfare, the impact of these revelations is profound and far-reaching. As Amy's confession reverberates through the upper echelons of power, the personal betrayals entwine with the cutthroat world of corporate intrigue. Nate, whose trust in those around him has been shattered, now finds himself at a crossroads. With Victor's guidance, he must navigate a treacherous landscape where every ally could be an enemy, and every secret holds the potential to ignite another scandal. For Victor, the stakes have never been higher. His attempt to pull Nate to his side is not just about salvaging a friendship or a business deal, it is about reclaiming control in a world where deception is the norm. Victor's inner turmoil is compounded by the realization that the very fabric of his past decisions is being unraveled by the revelations of Damian's overreach. Each secret uncovered brings him closer to a truth that might be too painful to accept, a truth that forces him to question every alliance he has ever forged. Meanwhile, Michael, equally incensed by Damian's silence and the secrets he guards so jealously, begins to organize his own countermeasures. Michael's anger is fueled by a sense of betrayal and a deep-rooted belief that no one should be allowed to manipulate those around them without consequence. His frustration with Damian's evasiveness is shared by many, and the pressure is mounting for a reckoning that will expose the full extent of Damian's duplicity. The inescapable conclusion, a web of lies on the brink of collapse as the layers of deception peel away, a stark picture begins to emerge. Damian's connection to Aristotle Dumas is not a minor subplot, it is the linchpin of a far-reaching conspiracy that has already begun to tear apart the delicate balance of Genoa City's power structure. The secrets he holds, particularly those involving Amy, are more than just personal betrayals, they are weapons in a larger war, one in which the ambitions of a single mastermind threaten to engulf everyone in their path. Amy's heart-wrenching revelation that everything was a meticulously crafted charade orchestrated by Damian is a turning point. It is a call to action for those who have been deceived, a moment when the true nature of Damian's ambitions is brought to light. With Victor now working to verify every detail and Nate caught in the crossfire of these revelations, the stage is set for a dramatic confrontation that could redefine the future of all involved. For Victor, the task ahead is daunting. He must reconcile his own feelings of betrayal and regret with the need to restore order in a world where every secret has the potential to trigger chaos. His alliance with Nate, once a symbol of trust and shared purpose, now teeters on the edge of collapse, threatened by the very deceptions they both sought to overcome. And as Michael and others join the fray, the question looms large: can the web of lies that Damian has spun be untangled before it's too late? Epilogue. The calm before the storm. In the quiet moments that follow these explosive revelations, the characters of Genoa City are left to contemplate the true cost of ambition and deceit. Damian's silent defiance, his refusal to divulge even the smallest detail about his connection to Aristotle Dumas, has set off a chain reaction that is now impossible to contain. The seeds of mistrust and betrayal have been sown, and the fallout is only just beginning. Amy's confession, delivered in tears and marked by the pain of betrayal, serves as a stark reminder that in this world, nothing is as it appears. Her words are both a warning and a plea for the truth to finally be acknowledged, even if that truth comes at the expense of long-held loyalties and shattered alliances. Victor stands at the precipice of a new era, one where the boundaries between friend and foe blur, and every secret carries the potential for devastation. His quest to understand and rectify the errors of the past is a race against time, one that will test his resolve and force him to confront the uncomfortable realities of a world built on lies. And as the investigation into Damian's true intentions deepens, every character in Genoa City must brace for the inevitable reckoning. The forces of ambition, betrayal, and long-hidden secrets are converging in a maelstrom of emotion and power, a storm that promises to reshape not only individual destinies but the very future of the city they call home. In this tangled web of intrigue, one truth stands out: the deeper one digs into the secrets of the past, the more dangerous the revelations become. And in the hands of a mastermind like Damian, even silence can be the deadliest weapon of all. This narrative brings to life the high-stakes drama surrounding Damian's connection to Aristotle Dumas, Amy's heartrending confession, and the desperate measures taken by Victor and his allies. It is a story of ambition, betrayal, and the inevitable clash of secrets, one that reminds us that in Genoa City, every lie carries the potential to destroy everything in its path. Below is an expansive narrative that delves deep into the latest twists and turns, one where fear, betrayal, and the weight of secrets threaten to upend everything in Genoa City. In this intricate tale, Amy finds herself trembling under the pressure of her own revelations, while Damian's ambition sets the stage for his own departure. Nate's wrath, stoked by deception and betrayal, further complicates matters as Victor and Michael marshal their forces against a cunning enemy. Read on to explore this high-stakes drama, and decide for yourself whether you believe Amy's desperate words. A ticking time bomb of regret and fear. Amy's heart pounded with the heavy realization that the path she had once walked alongside Damian was no longer one she could continue. Once a willing accomplice to his meticulously planned deceptions, she now trembled at the thought of the chaos they had wrought, and the inevitable consequences that would befall her. Each day in Genoa City had become a battle against her own guilt and terror. Amy was no longer the woman who had trusted Damian's promises of grandeur and success. Instead, she was a frightened soul, burdened with secrets that threatened to consume her. In the silence of her darkest moments, she knew that every misstep, every lie, would eventually demand a steep price, a price she was not sure she could afford. For Amy, the choice was painfully clear: to break free from the cycle of deception and to let the truth emerge, even if that meant sacrificing her own safety and reputation. Her mind raced with the memories of countless schemes, each one a carefully crafted thread in a tapestry of betrayal. Now, as the walls closed in and the final secret loomed on the horizon, Amy felt the weight of destiny upon her shoulders. She could no longer stand by and watch the consequences of her complicity in Damian's twisted game. The fear in her eyes was a silent acknowledgement that she was destined to bear the brunt of the fallout, an outcome she could no longer ignore. Damian's calculated exit, a mastermind's last act. While Amy's conscience waged its own internal war, Damian's ambitions reached fever pitch. True to his calculating nature, he had never been one to dwell on sentimentality or remorse. His relentless pursuit of power and control had driven him to orchestrate events with a cold, almost clinical precision. Now, with his objectives in clear sight, Damian was preparing for one final, decisive move, leaving Genoa City once his mission was complete. To Damian, departure was not an admission of defeat but rather a strategic withdrawal. An exit plan designed to leave chaos in his wake. He believed that by extricating himself from the city, he could sever any ties that might later compromise the legacy of his schemes. However, this departure was not without its dark implications. For those left behind, Damian's absence would mean not a cessation of the turmoil, but rather a shift in the balance of power, a shift that could unleash even greater instability. His actions had already set in motion a chain of events that bound the fates of multiple families together in a web of vengeance and regret. Nate's furious disillusionment. The ripple effects of Damian's deceit soon reached Nate, whose trust in those closest to him had been brutally shattered. Nate's fury was not solely directed at the betrayal he had suffered at Amy's hands. It burned even brighter when he learned that Damian, the very man he had once believed to be like a brother, had manipulated him, exploiting his feelings for personal gain. Nate's anger was a blazing storm of wounded pride and betrayal. In his eyes, the revelation that Damian was not the sibling figure he had assumed, but a calculating opportunist, was almost too much to bear. Nate's sense of loyalty and brotherhood had been his guiding star, and the betrayal stung with the precision of a well-aimed arrow. His fury was compounded by the knowledge that Amy, whom he had trusted implicitly, had been complicit in Damian's elaborate ruse. The shock of deception drove Nate to the brink, igniting a desire for retribution that would shape his actions in the days to come. His anger was not a fleeting emotion, it was a deep, seething resolve to expose every hidden truth and to ensure that Damian's treachery did not go unanswered. Victor and Michael, uniting against a common foe in the midst of these personal vendettas, two titanic figures, Victor and Michael, found common ground in their determination to root out the enemy who had plunged Genoa City into chaos. Through painstaking investigation and relentless determination, they pieced together the strands of Damian's elaborate schemes, slowly unveiling the extent of his treachery. With every whispered secret and every carefully concealed lie, the picture became clearer. Damian was the architect of a grand design aimed at upending established order and taking down powerful figures like Victor. Victor, a man renowned for his unyielding resolve and shrewd business acumen, was not one to be easily rattled. Yet even he was taken aback by the magnitude of Damian's betrayal. The discovery that Amy's tearful confessions painted Damian as a mastermind whose ambitions went far beyond petty scheming left Victor questioning every decision he had made. Determined to restore his empire's integrity, he began pulling key allies, most notably Nate, closer into his inner circle. Victor knew that in order to counteract the storm that Damian had unleashed, he needed to be precise, ruthless, and above all, united with those who shared his vision of order over chaos. Michael, equally incensed by the revelations, joined forces with Victor. Their alliance was forged not just by shared ambition but by a mutual recognition that the enemy they faced was formidable. The duo set in motion a series of covert maneuvers designed to weaken Damian's network, striking where the wound would be deepest. Their plans were as intricate as they were dangerous, and every step they took was a calculated risk in a high-stakes game of chess where the next move could tip the balance irrevocably. The inevitable unraveling of the final secret as the pressure mounted and the walls of deceit began to crumble, Genoa City braced itself for the ultimate revelation, a secret so explosive that it threatened to shatter the fragile equilibrium that had kept everyone in check. Amy's confession, the specter of Damian's imminent departure, and Nate's unbridled anger all converged to create a cauldron of tension that was bound to erupt. The final secret, one that had been carefully guarded behind layers of lies and betrayal, was on the verge of being exposed. The question that now loomed large over everyone was whether Victor and Michael's aggressive countermeasures would succeed. Could they, in their determination to unmask the true extent of Damian's machinations, finally restore order to a city teetering on the brink of disaster? The stakes were impossibly high, and every character, whether friend or foe, was drawn into a vortex of impending change. A web of deception, can we trust Amy's words? At the heart of this tumultuous drama lies the burning question, can anyone trust what Amy has revealed? Her tearful confessions and the tremor in her voice have sparked both hope and suspicion among those who have suffered from Damian's manipulations. Some see her words as a desperate plea for redemption, a chance to atone for the havoc she unwittingly helped create. Others view them with a wary eye, questioning whether her fear and regret are genuine or simply the latest twist in Damian's labyrinthine game. The narrative that has unfolded is one of extremes, betrayal, calculated ambition, and the desperate struggle to reclaim a semblance of order in a world ruled by secrets. Amy's journey is emblematic of the greater battle raging in Genoa City, a battle between those who dare to reveal the truth and those who would keep it hidden at any cost. Her role as a reluctant herald of truth is both a burden and a beacon, and only time will tell if her revelations will lead to justice or if they will further plunge the city into chaos. The final reckoning, an uncertain future as Victor and Michael marshal their resources to strike at the heart of Damian's operations. The sense of impending reckoning is palpable. Every move, every decision, is laden with the risk of total collapse. Nate's seething anger, once a personal vendetta, has grown into a symbol of the betrayal that has touched every corner of Genoa City. And amidst it all, Amy stands at a crossroads, her every word and every tear a reminder of the high price of deception. The coming days promise a showdown where the final secret, the one that has been hidden in plain sight for far too long, will be laid bare for all to see. It is a moment fraught with peril, where the actions of one person could tip the scales toward either redemption or ruin. Will Victor and Michael's coordinated assault bring down the mastermind behind the chaos? Can Nate's fury be transformed into a force for justice? And above all, will Amy's words, so raw and unfiltered, ultimately lead to the truth, or will they be dismissed as the desperate lamentations of a woman caught in a web of her own making?